Miss Haber.
Hey, Mr. Harrell, what are we up to today?
We're up to Asian government.
More government?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But
That's okay.
It's going to be interesting this time.
Okay, good.
And short.
Oh, good. We love that, kids,
Yes.
don't we?
All right, government systems have different ways of distributing power and determining citizen participation. Even within democracies, different forms of government exist. That reminds me of your pizza analogy.
Okay, just like the pizza. You can create your own pizza. These countries can create their own governments. They can choose how they want their country to run. Remember, it doesn't fit nicely into that square box. Every country can be different. Okay, Asia has a very wide variety of governmental types. Just like the geography of the region, wide variety, just like the culture of the region, wide variety, has a lot of different types.
So we have the communist, we have constitutional monarchies, and even federal democracies. That would be similar to the United States, that federal democracy, correct?
Correct.
That's going to be interesting to see which country is similar to the United States like that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so some countries in the region started with very little democracy, but they've gone through lots of changes or reforms in order to become more democratic. Others, however, still need more reforms before they can be that truly representative government. And we're going to look specifically at which countries, Mr. Harrell?
The governments of China, India, and Japan.
Okay, I wonder if any of the kids can predict which one fits into the category of communist, which one fits into constitutional monarchy, and which one of those three countries fits into federal democracy.
I bet the majority can.
I think they can too.
Now we've got to go and talk about yours, mine, and I'm sure their favorites.
Yep, the
Power
distribution
of
of
power.
Yay! All right, guys, you've done this to death at this point. You know exactly what the three types of power distribution are. You've got unitary, confederation, and federal.
Let's start with unitary.
Okay, now remember, kids, if in doubt on a test, say unitary. If in doubt, try and learn it specifically, but if in doubt, go with unitary. Okay, remember that there's no good or bad way for power to be distributed. It is a country's choice. We feel like the federal is the best because that's what we have in America. But remember, most countries just do not need a federal setup of government because of their size.
They're too small, correct?
Too small.
Okay.
So it's fine for it to be unitary. It's not positive or negative. It just is what it is. So with unitary, you have the central government having more power than the local governments. Very often you may see this when power is in the hands of one person or a group, and that can kind of go hand in hand. But the examples of these are
Japan and China. Remember that for test purposes.
okay, moving on to confederation. Remember, very few countries in the world operate under a confederation system, but this is where local government has more power than national government.
Simple as that.
Okay.
Don't need to say any more about it.
Federal is where power is divided. Now, it doesn't have to be divided equally, but it is divided so that local and central have some power and some say. Okay? And this example is
India.
India. And again, remember, the USA has this federal type of power distribution.
There's our friend, citizen participation.
Okay, now remember, citizen participation is how many people make decisions. How many? So we're looking again at how many. In autocratic, citizens have very little control. Power is in the hands of one person. Remember that automatic car? Only one person can drive that automatic car. Okay?
All right. Oligarchic is when a small group holds the reins of power in a government. And this time, our example is going to be China.
China, very important that you know that China is an oligarchic system. Okay, moving on to democratic.
Citizens have the ability to participate in the government by voting for their government officials or their representatives.
And these examples are India and Japan.
Okay, we need to look specifically now at the government of India. Here we go, kids. Government of India.
Okay, when you're talking about the type of government, we're talking about it being a federal republic. Sounds very familiar to the United States of America, a federal republic. We can predict from the type of government that power is shared between local and central, and we can predict from the name of the government that voting occurs. Remember though, you can give yourself any name you want to give yourself as a country when it comes to your type of government, but we would actually consider this government to be a federal republic too.
Okay, let's talk about the executive branch. We're going to talk about the chief of state first. Their chief of state is a president. His or her duties are mostly ceremonial. They hold no real power. Now we have the head of the government. Their head of government is a prime minister. He or she runs the day-to-day activities of the government, and in this case holds the most power in the government. All right, the president appoints the prime minister from the largest party in parliament. That should sound familiar, but in this case, the president appoints the prime minister from the largest party in parliament.
So it would be a parliamentary democracy.
Correct.
Okay. So under the legislative branch, you have bicameral. Remember, that means two houses. Two houses. It's not unicameral, that's one house. Bi meaning two. It's a bicameral parliament. The common man does not vote for members of parliament. Instead, members of the state and territorial assemblies elect the members of parliament.
So that's an example of what you said when you said a government can pull any word that they want to represent them, and it may not hold exactly true.
Correct.
So there is voting here, but it's just not by the common man, the you and the me.
Correct.
Okay, so it is a set group that actually elects the members to parliament.
Correct.
Okay?
Okay. Again, judicial branch, very similar. Supreme Court. Universal suffrage. Suffrage means right to vote. And these members of these state and territorial assemblies, these people, who are the people who vote, must be 18 years of age.
Or older, yes.
Or older. And freedom of speech, religion, and movement. The people in India get to have a lot of opportunities to have freedom of speech, religion, and movement.